In this lecture, we're looking at the busy indicator Qt Quick control element. You use this element to show that something is going on. Let's go to Qt Creator and play with it. Okay, here we are in Qt Creator. We are going to create a new project. It's a Qt Quick application. You have to make sure to store it in a location without spaces. So if you have spaces in here, you're going to have problems running your application on mobile devices like Android. So be careful about that. We are going to call it busy indicator demo. Use this as the default project location. Choose our Qt version. Choose our toolkits. Android for x86 and desktop. We don't want ARM EABI because it is very slow to run on virtual devices. You already know this. And finish. We want to put in our imports, Qt Quick Control 2.4 and Qt Quick Layouts because we're going to use this. We change the title. We say busy indicator demo. And if we go to the documentation, type in busy indicator, you're going to see the type here. What it does, it is used to indicate activity while content is being loaded or the UI is blocked waiting for a resource to become available. You basically use it when something is going on to let the user know. And this is how you use it. What we're going to do is to put in a column layout. Inside, we're going to put a busy indicator element. So we're going to say busy indicator. We want to set a width property to the layout and a height property. Set it up like this. And below the busy indicator, we want to put another column layout. That is going to contain two buttons. So we're going to say button ID, button 1, button ID, button 2. The first button is going to say running, meaning that something is going on. And the second one is going to say not running. Let's run the application and see how it looks. We are going to run it on desktop. Click the green button. And you see that we have something spinning, meaning that something is going on. And we have our two buttons down below here. But you see that it doesn't look great. We need a way to push the entire thing to the top, put this busy indicator in the center, and make the buttons fill the entire width. We're going to start by the buttons because it's easier to do. We're going to say layout, fill width, true. And the same thing to the second button. And we should correct this piece of text and say it not running here. Run again. See the effect of our changes. We are filling the entire width. Now we want to center this thing. Okay, how do you do that? One way to do that is to use alignment. So we're going to say layout, alignment, and say Qt align horizontal center. If we run, it's going to be in the center. The last thing we need to do is to find a way to push this to the top. And one way I can think of right now is to use an item to the bottom of this column layout and make it fill the remaining space in the window. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go down below this column layout, the second one that contains the buttons. I am going to put in an item element, and I'm going to make it fill the width and the height. This is like a spacer item in the C++ side of Qt if you have worked with spacer items. If we run, we're going to have our two things pushed to the top, just like this. And all this space here is being filled by the item that we put in here. To make it visible, we can put in a rectangle inside. This is of no practical use. I just want you to see this space here. We want to make it fill the parent. It fills the item, and we give it a color of red, for example. Choose a color you like. If you run the application, we're going to see a red rectangle down in this space. Now that you have seen it, I'm going to take it out because it is useless. I'm going to comment it out. And this is one way to push things to the top by specifying an item that is going to fill the remaining space. I just wanted you to see this technique because you might use it in other places, but you can completely leave all this out, okay? And not specify the height property of this column layout here. And things are going to be laid out to the top as well. Let's run the application so that you can see this. Okay, this is the same effect. These are two ways you have to make your user interface look like this. Now we want to focus on our busy indicator. One thing you might want to do is to have the ability to start and stop it. How do you do that? Let's use our buttons here. Handle the on-click event. Give an ID to our busy indicator. And when you want to make it run, you just set its property of running. Let's look at its documentation. And you see that it has a property running. This property holds whether the busy indicator is currently indicating activity. If it is true, there is some activity. If it is false, there is no activity. So what we want to do is to say here, busy indicator ID running equals true because we want it to run. And when you click on not running, you want to make it not run. And what we're going to do is set its running property to false. We want it to start not running, so we're going to set the running property to false when we declare it right here and run the application. So what we should have is the busy indicator not running and not visible here. And if we run it, it becomes visible. When we stop it, you don't see it here. Okay, run it, you see it running, stop it, and you don't see it here. A natural thing to want here is to make it not occupy space while it is not visible. How do you do that? It actually is very easy to do. You can come back to the code and make it invisible when it is not running. And you can say visible, false. Do the same thing here. When you run it, you also make it visible. Say visible. And set visible to false here. Let's run again. It is not visible. When you run it, it becomes visible. And the entire UI moves down a little bit to give it some space. When you stop it, running, not running, it becomes invisible, but it doesn't go up to fill the space. What is going on? Oh, this is true, it's not false. My bad. Run again. We run it, it becomes visible. We stop it, it becomes invisible. And this is really all there is to using a busy indicator. You show it when you want to show it, and you show it like this by making it visible and setting its running property to true. You hide it by setting these properties to false. Okay, you have seen the busy indicator in the default style. How does it look in different styles? Because we want to see that too. So you already know how to work with different styles. We have to add our Qt Quick controls to include here. And we have to go to the main file, the CPP one, include QQuick style. And down here, say QQuick style, set style. And set material, because we want to see how this looks on Android. You changed something in the project file, so you should run QMake. Qt Quick Controls 2 is not recognized here, so I messed up. Let's go to the first project and cheat a bit. Okay, it is Quick Controls 2. It is not Qt Quick Controls 2. My bad. Run again. Okay, this is how it should look in material style. If you run it, it looks like this, and you stop it, just like we did before. You can try all these different styles if you want. For example, we can use the Fusion style, run again, and this is how it looks in Fusion. Stop it. The last thing I want to do is to run this on an Android device and see how it looks. You should build up this habit of running your application on multiple platforms if you can, because that's really what Qt is all about. So I am going to put material back because that's the home style for Android devices. I am going to go down here, choose my Android kit. Clean the project. Run QMake. And rebuild the project, just to make sure that we start on a clean slate. And if you want to try this on an Android device, you should have your virtual device up and running. I have mine here. If the build is successful, I am going to hit the button to run the application. Okay, the build is successful. I can run the application, choose my device here, hit OK. Bring the device up again. And we should have our UI running on our Android device in a minute. Okay, here is our application. Click on running. You see the busy indicator here. Click on not running and it stops. This covers all I had to say in this lecture. In the next one, we're going to look at the checkbox Qt Quick control element. I'll see you there.